Welcome to BlizzCon and the Grand Finals of HGC 2018. My name is Kevin, and we have an incredible Grand Final for you. The Gods of the West versus the Gods of the East. It is Dignitas versus Gen G. I can't wait for this matchup. It has been the one that has been on our minds all year long. It is going to be an incredible set of games. Best of 5 to see who will be the global champion. We've got JC, Gillyweed, Gluck, and our team of commentators and analysts over at the desk to get it all started. Let's go.
For an entire year, we have been talking about a rivalry between two heroes teams, Team Dignitas and Gen G. 2 years ago at BlizzCon, Gen G lost in the BlizzCon semifinals and went on to create a dynasty the likes of which any other Heroes of the Storm team could only dream of. But that's the thing about dynasties, they live on generation to generation until they're overthrown. Welcome to the HGC Grand Finals. I am Gillyweed and I'm here with Dreadnought, J-How, and Tetcher. Dreadnought, here we go again.
I am ready to get this started. We have, as you said, kind of been having the story brewing for so very long, the rivalries between that and the performance that we got out of them at the Midseason Brawl Grand Finals. I am confident that this is going to do not only these teams justice, but justice to you fans at home. This is what we have all been waiting for.
And J-How, Team Dignitas last BlizzCon fell unexpectedly in the round of 8, came in, Gold Club World Championship, regrouped, reformed, and went to the Grand Finals versus Gen G. And then again at the Midseason Brawl. It has never been closer to a Dignitas win till now.
It feels like this is their time. This is the moment where they finally culminated. After last BlizzCon, it was like a team reborn. They've gotten closer and closer every step of the way. I think this is the final step in the dream of making it a reality for this team.
But Tetcher, Gen G are not content with just one BlizzCon win. They want a dynasty, especially when they have gotten so used to winning. It feels so good.
Absolutely. They would absolutely want to be the first 2-time champions for the Heroes of the Storm Global Championship, because it hasn't been around that long. But the fact is, Dignitas have only dropped a single map this tournament, but Gen G, they have dropped maps in group stages before, they've dropped maps in bracket stages before, but they always show up in the finals. It's always their best work.
Let's look at the bracket for this event and where we've come from to know where we'll be going. We started off yesterday with 8 teams, brought down to 4, the 4 that we saw today. And I'll be honest, guys, I didn't prepare for another Grand Finals, because I was so convinced this was going to happen, and then Gen G and Team Liquid threw me for a loop.
Yeah, they very much did throw everybody for a loop, and I think even more so when you look at the series that they had before that point, the fact that Heroes was able to make that very, very competitive and close, but then somehow we saw Liquid able to evolve and move themselves on almost to the Grand Finals, but as we said before here, Gen G was able to hold up, stand their ground, and it's part of the reason I think a lot of us are walking into this Grand Finals and saying, are they truly the upper hand team? Is Dignitas really that underdog? Because looking at the games we've gotten so far, Dig is by far the cleanest team in this tournament.
Dig has always been one step ahead of Gen G, it almost feels like. Right, group stage, Gen G lost a game to Team Liquid. Dignitas came in unscathed. Then in the semifinals that we saw earlier today, Gen G dropped 2 games, and that third game looked close, Tetcher.
That was really close. I was up dancing around thinking that we were potentially going to get an EU versus EU finals. It was so tense, but in the end, Gen G were able to find their opportunity and get themselves the position in their second Grand Finals in HGC at BlizzCon.
A lot of it with Dignitas is, to echo what Dread's saying, I mean, it passes the eye test. I mean, Dignitas, everything that we're seeing, they seem to be the more dominant team. They seem to have more diversity than any other team here, and they execute so well that it really feels like this is the team that should be favored coming to this matchup.
Well, I can't wait any longer. So all of you out there and all of you at home, get up and get loud, because it's time to crown our 2018 Heroes Global Champion.
저희 목표는 당연히 우승이고, 사실 이스턴 때 한번 무패 우승을 해보긴 했는데 이번에도 무패 우승을 도전하고 싶지만 좀 힘들 수도 있을 것 같아서 할 수만 있다면 무패 우승에 한번 도전해보고 싶습니다. 저번 미드 시즌 때 디그니타스를 한번 꺾은 경험은 있는데 솔직히 조금 많이 힘들었어요. 그때 약간 좀 기적이 있었다고 생각하고, 이번에는 저번 미드 시즌과는 다르게 좀 더 많은 연습을 통해서 한 번 더 꺾을 수 있지 않을까 싶어요. 솔직히 저희 팀은 다양한 전략을 쓰는 팀은 아니라고 생각해요. 조금 약간 짓눌어버리는 그런 형식이 게임인 것 같아서 저희가 이제 전략을 바꾼다기보다는 상대 전략에 맞춰서 그것을 카운터 친다는 느낌이 더 강할 것 같아요. 상금은 딱히 지금은 제가 당장 어디에 쓴다기보다는 작년 상금도 지금 아직도 안 쓰고 모아뒀어요. 그래서 올해 받은 상금도 모아서 계속 저축하는 형식이 되지 않을까 싶어요.
Playing against Gen G in the finals, this is the moment we've been waiting for. We've been training our whole time since the MSB to reach this again. And I think this match is going to be the pinnacle of Heroes of the Storm. We're going to have to play at our absolute best to be able to defeat this powerhouse. But I think if we put in everything we've got, we can take them. I think we as a team fuel our energy from the crowd a lot. The rush of the roar of the crowd when a big play happens or when you know you did something really cool and everyone's cheering. I think our team really enjoys that. And I think playing on stage really benefits us. So we're definitely looking forward to playing with the biggest crowd for every event of Heroes. I haven't really thought too much about what I'm going to do if we do win BlizzCon with the money. It's a huge amount. I don't think I've ever had this much amount of money, ever, in terms of just for me. So it's going to be crazy. But I think for me, the biggest thing is just being able to be the ones who lifted that trophy.
Oh, here we are, you know, it's the Clash of the Titans. The Genji versus Dignitas rematch from the mid-season brawl. We've learned a lot since then, and we've practiced really hard. We had the bootcamp in Korea, and here we are, finally ready to show them and everybody what we've got. I hope it's gonna be a blast. This feeling of just having been part of something that everybody enjoyed and got a kick out of, that's why I play the game. Oh, what I'm gonna do with the grand prize, I'm gonna take them, I'm gonna put them in my corner, and I'm gonna keep playing the game. That's it.
It's time. It's so important that we're gonna even call out these team members by name. We're gonna start over here in the red corner. Incredible team out of Korea. Please welcome to the stage, Coach Noblesse for Gen G. And on the front line, holding it down as Tank Tist. Ranged Assassin Reset. You know him, Flex Assassin Rich. Playing Melee Flex Kyocha. And last, support and captain, Sake. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Gen G! All right, and on the blue side, hailing out of EU, the best team from the West, Dignitas, and as coach, Nabi. Playing support, Zalia. Ranged Assassin, Poink. Bringing in the damage, Melee Flex, Wubby. On the front line as tank, JPL. And lastly, captain and Flex Assassin, Snitch. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dignitas! All right, captains, let's come center stage. Shake hands in front of this trophy. Good luck, teams. May the best team win. We're done on this stage. Take it over, guys.
Rivals, friends, and opponents. Team Dignitas and Gen G know each other to a T. Dig has gone there so many times to boot camp. And we've heard Snitch in his Road to BlizzCon talk about how grateful it was just to be in the experience of the Mid-Season Brawl Grand Finals. I feel the same just being here and seeing these two teams lock horns once again in a grand finals.
I very much agree. You know, I feel like everybody that got to experience any part of the midseason brawl, even if you weren't there, it was a magical moment for all of competitive Heroes of the Storm, and it's only fitting that we are able to get the, you know, nightcap, if you will, of the HGC to get it once more repeated here. But there's been a lot to be gained with the friendship between Snitch and Rich, you know, with Gen.G and Team Dignitas, and it's been cool to be able to see them respect the hell out of one another, but at the same time realize that at some point that has to come to an end. It's time to figure out who's the best of the best.
The other part is that Wubby on this team has been to every single finals of every event for the last 2.5 years. I mean, he has been here. He has won global championships. He did it with the Fnatic roster, but he's back on Dignitas where he had roots several years ago. So he's back here on the championship stage, a place he's very familiar with. It's such a story when you think about his history alone to be paired with the history of Dignitas. It's rivaling that of Gen.G. They just need to get the wins now.
If you look at Dignitas' match history, their tournament history throughout this year, it is a sea of gold. They have come first place in basically every tournament they have played in, except this one, the mid-season brawl. It's upside down. The mid-season brawl, where they did lose to Gen.G, is the one smudge on their record for this year.
Constantly, they run up against this team in international events. And I feel like so much of that is on this person right here, on Sake, who has captained this team since its infancy.
Yeah, it's very, I feel like, underestimated what Sake has been able to do for the team. Everybody's always talking about Rich and Reset, but Gen.G, Sake has won multiple world championships on multiple roles, and there is about nobody in the world that can say that. And the fact that he is even contesting for a third on his secondary role is just crazy to me here and the rest of the roster. But I mean, this guy is nobody to look over either. Doesn't get his name talked about too often, but I think that is with good reason. Consistency is necessary within the Warrior role, and Tist, he provides.
Tist's positioning has just been some of the most insane in this tournament. His zoning, preventing some of the more aggressive plays from some teams, have been great. But we have to talk about Dignitas. JPL has been just a stalwart frontline ever since he joined the team, has been around almost the longest of any of the players.
Wubby, there's the man. I can't speak highly enough. He's my favorite player in the entire world. He does things just that nobody else does. The way he thinks for this team, it's unprecedented, and we've mentioned Snitch so many times. As much as we mention it, Dreadnought, it almost feels like we don't mention it enough what he does for this team.
I very much agree. He has been a player that at this tournament specifically has stepped up for the squad. And depending on the results that we get, you know, I was giving some banter out in the back there with him. And one of the things that he said, you know, it's out with the rich, in with the snitch. It is time to claim himself as one of the best, if not the best player in the world. And I think his performance here is a large reason that we, you know, talk about passing the eye test so far throughout this tournament. I feel like he is very much a key element in that.
I mean, not just this BlizzCon, last BlizzCon, Bakery stepped down from this roster, and this roster needed a leader. Snitch was an easy choice. I remember a time when it was questionable about his play and his position on this team, and now it is, without a doubt, Snitch's team. He is captain, he is leader, and he is leading the charge now in so many different ways and different plays that he makes.
Exactly. He's been around for so long playing with some of these players, but when this team started as Bob ? And finally swapping over to Dignitas for one of their first BlizzCons, Snitch has been there. He's always been solid and has just grown as a player, as a person, and as a captain.
And another guy that I think has grown a lot, and sometimes we can maybe forget some of the impact that he has had, has got to be ZAKRIA. Not only is he standing out as one of the best supports in the world possibly, but we have to go before GCWC at the beginning of this year, or at least the late end of last year, he was not even a support player. So the fact that he is sitting here rivaling members, and I mean, I'd be willing to say that I think he is a better support than Sake has been. And again, I'm giving a lot of credit to what Sake has been able to do, but ZAKRIA's performance, his growth, has been almost unmatched to any player throughout all of HGC.
These ingredients, this recipe for success is absolutely necessary to take down a team that has won as many things as Gen.G has consistently throughout the years. I'm talking Spring Global Championship 2016. The roster known as MVP Black went and has the longest win streak game-wise of any team ever in Heroes of the Storm, and still they persist in the grand finals, J-How.
It's been the evolution of this team, because the core of that roster still basically remains when you have Sake and Rich there, but it's changed. That was the dominant force. They were coming at you at every single angle, at every moment of the game. This team feels different. They've evolved. They've gotten smarter. They do things differently. They play the map well, and it's just they're not the aggressive team. They're more of the counter-punchers now. It's very different feel from the team, but the dominance is the key factor because that has never gone away for this team.
So how does Team Dignitas get a win over them here? What must happen, Dreadnought?
Got to put Rich on something he's not comfortable on. That is step number one. Find a way to be able to focus on them. And then I would argue game number two is got to be focus on your macro, or at least a way to be able to manipulate the battleground, because there is still, you know, I will always swear by the European region, and especially those that sit at the top are far and above the best in the world, and making that happen. And those small elements are the things that I think Dignitas has to rely on if they're going to have a confident victory here against a team like Gen G.
Couldn't agree more. Dignitas, if they can make the plays happen on the map, then they might be able to do something. But more importantly, in the draft, and this is where we jump back to Wobby. His drafting style has always been looked at as one of the best in the world. And if he can take Rich off those comfort heroes, then they are going to have a pretty decent chance here.
You think that sign was made just a moment ago, or that's been sitting there for a while? We're going to see if that happens. But, you know, you go back to, Zalia said in the interviews, like, we learned so much from Midseason Brawl. I think everybody on Dignitas would acknowledge that. There was a time in that series where everybody's like, wait, is Wubby as good as he is? Because there was a focus on the solo lane to dive onto that. And they started to adapt. They started to change the way that they played throughout that series. And I think that was only for the better for them in the long run.
It's time. Let's head into the Battleground pool and find out where this best of 5 commences. Bands, a Battlefield of Eternity. Dig came in with a plan versus Korea, and they'll stick to it. Gen G takes out Cursed Hollow, and we're going to Dragonshire, picked by Gen G.
And I think this is a really good map selection when looking at Gen G. Not only is it one of their highest preferred battlegrounds, but it puts them in a position to kind of force that fluid laning and those micro decisions that allow them to get the skirmishes, things like the Alarak, the Karazims that we've already seen from them. And I think that if you're going to break down Dignitas and not let them out macro, one of the best ways to do that is, again, those small skirmishes. Dragonshire very much promotes that playstyle, but by no means, if you are a Dignitas fan, do you feel like this is a surprise battleground, or nor are they